a fan favourite and an ACA favourite. We've got the Blind Limey. How you doing, Blind Limey?
Hello there, Chief and other Chief.
The Chiefs. We're good. Your accent's changed. Are you putting that on?
A bit. I just woke up not long ago. I've been on night shifts a bit again, so I'm kind of like a bit muzzy. But
okay.
This topic intrigues me. This topic brings back memories and thoughts. My ex-wife, this sounds like starting a joke, my ex-wife, but my ex-wife was a very big believer in the supernatural. She was formerly practicing Wiccan. She was convinced things like ghosts were real. She was very superstitious about certain things. And for example, when she came over to England the first time, I took her to Stratford-upon-Avon because, of course, I lived quite close by. And she wanted to take, she had been asked by a colleague to take photos of the church where Shakespeare was married and things like that. So the church in Stratford. But she's absolutely deathly terrified of graveyards. And we walked up to it, and she took a moment to sort of compose herself, and then we walked through the graveyard, and I walked in, and it was like she just went rod stiff, like completely, like she was truly, truly terrified. Wow. Now, at the time, I was just supportive, and just walked her through and assured her that I was there. And of course, because I wanted to, be nice to my lady, I didn't comment or criticize or question or anything. But this became the norm. Like, she would have some supernatural thing, and then if I even dared to try and question it, she'd just completely, like, how dare you even, kind of thing. Huh. And so it was very difficult to deal with, and maybe that's part of why I do what I do now, is kind of like a weird, like, petty revenge. Like, I'll criticize supernatural things. Shakespeare. And it's not just her. Like, a lot of my family are supernaturally inclined, believe in ghosts, believe that they're real, believe in all kinds of weird woo things. And every time it comes up, they're having this really enthusiastic conversation that I can have no part of, because if I say anything true that I feel is true, I'm going to upset people. And again, it comes to the point of, like, where do you pick your battles? And you might say that, well, it's harmless enough to believe in ghosts or think that graveyards are haunted. It's like, no, that's the same. It's what you were saying earlier in the show. It's the same ill thinking, the same irrational thought patterns that lead people to things like religion or bigotry, or that they are willing to put their feelings ahead of facts and right. evidence. And also, they're afraid of the unknown, so they'll fill it in with whatever they want. Ghosts, right? A ghost. So, I mean, I don't know if you guys have had anything, like any experiences like that, or advice for people out there on how do you deal with people who have beliefs you don't?
Yeah, well, I do, but I'll let JL jump in first, and then I'll do one as well.
So, as far as like dealing with individuals like that, and there's a certain point where you can't just die on that hill. There's a certain point where you do kind of have to back off if you want to maintain or sustain the relationship. But I can tell you firsthand experience that my mother and I currently don't speak because of this very thing. And it's because my mother is, I feel that my mother is one of the smartest people I know, in the world. Like the older I get, the smarter she becomes. And so, but there was a conversation we had a couple of years ago where my mother said something that was deeply illogical. And like the connective was not there. And, I've been running my channel for a while, and I come to recognize these things pretty quickly. And while not insulting her, did say, I was kind of shocked by that. We wound up into a conversation that got very, very heated very quickly. And unfortunately, she and I have not spoken since. So pushing the issue, and I think that was partly my fault as I pushed it. And so I can tell you that, if you want to maintain it, you got to pick and choose which hills you're willing to go on. If maintaining or sustaining the relationship, keeping the relationship is important to you. So just know where you can go and where you can't, I would say.
Right, and I actually have a situation coming up. I direct shows when I'm not talking on the internet, and I'm putting on a show in a very old wine cellar here in Kentucky, and the people that I'm with, a big majority of them would identify as atheist, but still believers, almost how I was back in my early 20s. Atheist, but believers in paranormal and you know the afterlife and everything. And we had an item in my show go missing for about an hour, and there was no explanation. It did turn up, but my set builder came to me and said, "I'm certain that was moved by another being. How would you feel about coming down and doing a Ouija board with me?" And I'm like, as a very non-believer, he knows that I am very skeptical about these things, that I don't really believe in any of the afterlife and ghost stuff until there's something that is, you know, going to absolutely blow anything out of the water in regards to evidence. And I think I would like to go, because I want to experience this thing and see how they work in person. Because I only ever hear stories of, you know, how Ouija boards work and the feeling you get when you're there doing it. I know that I will absolutely poop my pants, because I'm still, even though I'm a non-believer, it still freaks me out a little bit. Just because your brain does do those tricks, and I'm getting better as I get older at saying, you know, come on, think this through, just really rationalize here. But I know that I will still have a little moment, but I do want to go and experience it. And I'm going to be like you, Blind Limey. It's going to be very difficult to not say this is so stupid. But I kind of just want to get involved and see how it goes.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the things. I've been actually sent a text message from someone who came to my door a while ago reminding me, oh, don't forget to join us at Bible study, because I said I would at one point to see what it's like. But here's the I'll be on my best behavior. No, but here's the thing with other people. One thing, I'm not exactly like you there, John. I am very much because I see weird stuff all the time, like weird shapes and apparitions and shadows, because my eyes are knackered, right?
Right.
So I can be startled, but very rarely am I scared of like places that don't pose an actual threat. Like I can go into a dark cellar, and the only thing I'll be afraid of is like, are there brown recluse down here, kind of thing.
Right.
Eaten at me by insects.
Right.
Like there's many more things to be afraid of here in Texas than the ghosts, like, you know, rattlesnakes. But anyway, the government. Oh, I shouldn't have said that. But anyway, oops. But I'm absolutely an absolute wimp when it comes to horror stuff, like horror games and horror movies and that. I get scared real easy. But that's because, in the context of the fiction, the threat is real. It's
right.
You know, proven to be a problem. So there's that. And then there's times where people are they don't just get offended. They come back at me like I'm stupid, which is weird. It's so odd. I have a friend who's convinced they're haunted. They are haunted. Like they are regularly interacting with a ghost child that scratches them and like messes with them in their sleep, and they wake up with scratches on their body and stuff like that, and bruises, and they're thoroughly convinced they're haunted. And I said, and I had a conversation with them, there isn't really much in the way of evidence for that, and I've never seen anything of the sort. And they said, oh well, you're just spiritually dumb. Like you're not capable of interacting with the spiritual world. Well, there's a flipping unproved.
You've just hardened your heart to the paranormal. That's all that is.
Yeah. Spiritually dead. Spiritually dead is something I've gotten.
Yeah.
Yeah. the only reason you don't see is that you're not capable. You've closed yourself off to it. I'm like, where have I heard that kind of rhetoric?
Right.
Before?
And I feel like as people who like love talking about this sort of stuff, I feel like we're probably the most open to it. We want this stuff to happen to us because we would love to know the truth. So I feel like somebody who says that just needs to wind their neck in, because I'm sorry, I feel like I'm one of the most open people to having something. That's why I want to go to these Ouija board meetings, and I want to go and sit in these dark places with nobody else around and just see what happens, because I want it to be true. What a terrible existence if we don't get to live on forever, you know, and hang out with our loved ones. I mean, actually, no, some of them, no, I'm fine not seeing. But you know what I mean? Like, if this is it, oh, well, okay, sad, but, you know, I'd love it if it was true that I could come back and really terrify my kids as a ghost one day. That'll be awesome.
Yeah. And I'll leave you with this. It was another part of this conversation that I had with this friend, because they were having trouble at home and thinking of moving. And I offered to let them stay at my place for a while. And I said, I want to warn you, I am haunted. You're going to have issues. I'm like, that doesn't bother me at all. to quote the song, I ain't afraid no ghost.
Right. I feel like there's like a business model here that we can sell for Halloween. And I'm not saying that we should do this. It's just, a silly idea. But we could sell haunted underwear or something, you know. If you want to be haunted this Halloween, buy our haunted underwear, you know. We should get Blind Limey. I nearly said your real name then. You call me. We're gonna make this happen.
Okay, yeah. Spooky Pants Incorporated.
Spooky Pants.
There's an LDS joke in there somewhere.
Oh yeah. Man. There's so much we could do with this.
Haunted, they're just magic.
That's true. Well, thanks for calling in, Blind Limey. It's always good to hear from you.